The president, in that statement there to those party chieftains, he did say that he tries to take his time. And he had also said at some point that, look, you might call him Baba Go Slow. That means someone who acts slowly as much as you want. But what he desired was success, and that he always want to hit the goal. He also says that he reflects and ponder on historical antecedent. Is it counterproductive, or what exactly do you think is happening within the presidency right now, or in the APC, considering the party's promises?
Let me draw inference from the statement of Mr. President some time ago, when he said his doctors advised him to eat more and sleep more. For a country as Nigeria that is very desirous of serious leadership that keeps itself awake when other nations are sleeping, I do not think, we need that kind of attitude or approach to governance. India is growing at such a pace because India keeps itself awake. The presidency is such that you are so encumbered with responsibilities that you don't even have the time to sleep because there are challenges here and there. So we should be talking, the president should be talking about taking quick decisions, when confronted with challenges, when confronted with developmental issues and all of that, so that we could know the mindset of the president at every point in time. In terms of taking his time before taking or reflecting before taking a decision, times are gone when those kind of attributes or approach to governance was the order of the day. In this contemporary age and time, we need handsome president who is ready to confront the challenges, who is ready to present himself or appear at point of crisis, or where you have flashpoints, and offer presidential verdict or presidential commentaries that will now gauge the mood of the country. I don't want the country to move at the pace of the president. Rather, the president should move at the pace of the country. And the pace of the country is that people are engaged in different entrepreneurial initiatives. People are productive in their own way because government is beginning to fail them. Okay. We have infrastructural deficit, we have bad roads, we have all of these things.
Mr.
The president must come out of his chair.
Some are saying there is a possibility that a Twitter account of the wife of the president, Muhammadu Buhari, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, has been hacked. Some others just believe she's standing for the truth, especially as those voices are re-echoing what she said before. Here is the cause of a new debate. If you go to the Twitter handle of Mrs. Aisha Buhari, the first 3 posts there are of those questioning the assertiveness and style of the president and the possibility of a hijack of his government. You will remember that in October 2016, the wife of the president had blown the whistle, saying that her husband, government, has been hijacked by a cabal. She's asked for a shake-up in his cabinet. And in fact, this time around, it does look like the woman is bringing to the public what exactly should be a concern for the Buhari government. During the conversation from what Mrs. Aisha Buhari had tweeted today, it's been a while that she tweeted, but she tweeted today, and the last three tweets that she has on her Twitter handle of a negative feelers about the government of her husband. What's your take on what exactly could be happening at the seat of power?
Well, I don't know. I've not seen the Twitter, and what I do know is that when President Buhari came back from the prolonged medical vacation, he said his doctors advised him to eat more and sleep more. So that kind of advice is given to somebody who is in a retirement position. And more or less, this is what President Buhari has, that his presidency has been more or less like a retirement or a pensioner position for him so far, the way it has been treated. I mean, today, or was it yesterday, we heard about dinner or whatever it is. That doesn't convey any sense of urgency or concern with what is going on. It seems as if we are living in different countries. A friend of mine came to my house yesterday, and I was upstairs. the first time, this is a visitor. He locked the door to the entrance of the house behind him. He locked the door to the staircase. When he came to the room upstairs, he locked the door again. So it was purely a reflexive action, and this is reflecting what is going on in the country. So I don't know. It's difficult to make sense out of this, the way this government behaves, and what exactly it hopes to achieve. It's funny that this is the first time that the First Lady in Nigeria will be the one setting the pace for how the government of her husband should be. That itself is a sad commentary on what is going on in the country. So whichever way you look at it, we're in a, I don't know, I mean, it's such a pity that we're in this kind of situation that we find ourselves. Of course, going forward, we have to look beyond the two parties that we have, or beyond the status quo that we have, to see if we want to retain our sanity, to start looking for, how the country might be salvaged. Because honestly, I don't see anything so far. It seems the negative momentum seems to be accelerating, not decelerating. So I don't know. I mean, it's difficult for me really to make sense of the governance of this country so far. But as I said, I think the metaphor for the presence of President Buhari is that I think it's a retirement position for him.
Mr. Afegbua, is it a case of the cookie crumbling for your party? 2019, what do you make of it, considering what Mrs. Aisha Buhari is saying right now? And our body language, of course, when she had said that some people had hijacked our husband's government earlier, before now. And now, with what is happening, our tweets perhaps are saying more than perhaps the mind can also reveal. But right now, for what more than what you and I can understand, she does understand. What exactly do you foresee for your party come 2019?
Well, it's painful that some of us who went around this country campaigning for the president, are beginning to see that there is some kind of political inertia within the party, because I expect that the party should be up and doing, using its various organs and platforms to provoke discourse and ensure that all the various elements that came together in the merger process are catered for and are also put in the know of what's happening in government. But the reverse is the case, and that's my worry. Of course, we know that where the previous government stopped, as the PDP-led government, we knew why the Nigerians voted for the APC. They needed a new paradigm. They needed fresh discourse. They wanted a government that would further the narrative of national cohesion and development. But now, from what we have seen the last 3 years, I made my point very clear about a week ago when I posted on my Facebook wall that for me, whether the presidency is hijacked or not hijacked, I think it's time for Mr. President, when he will be clocking 77 by 2019, to please take a bow, and that to be a hallmark of integrity, of honor, and encourage the party to use its machinery to provoke new leadership. A younger mind who has capacity, who has a hands-on approach, to developmental issues and challenges that confront the country as we speak, because we need to further the narrative. I would need a communicative president, not the one that organizes dinners at, almost forever, once in a lifetime and all that. I can't remember when last they organized a dinner to interact with party apparatchik and all of that. So for me, talking seriously as a Nigerian and putting party sentiments apart, I think we need a serious-minded Nigerian who has the capacity, whose doctors will not tell him to eat more and sleep more, and all of that, so that in the final analysis, development can be unleashed on the political landscapes to the extent that Nigerians will be happy that, yes, for once, we now have a new thinking in our governance process. As it is now, I'm almost helpless defending all the time, some of the deficiencies of this government, inaccuracies and all of that. And it baffles me that if I had invested all my political capital to provoke this new leadership, and this is what we are getting, I'm at a loss. So I've apologized to quite a number of friends that, well, at that point that we were bringing in Buhari with the integrity in place, with the Megeskia mentality, we thought that there will be a new approach to governance.
All right. We may have to leave it at that because of our time. Many thanks, Mr. Kasim Afegua. Interesting to hear your thoughts and the manner in which you're speaking about your party and the man you have canvassed and campaigned for earlier, before now. Also, Mr. Akin Oshintoku, many thanks indeed for coming on the program today. And that's our show, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. Do join us on Sunday where we come your way with a 1-hour edition of Politics Today. Thank you so much. I'm Sean Kimbaloe. Bye-bye.